Hello everybody, this is Dr. Cole, Saturday afternoon, March 19th, now entering week 3 of Humanities 2333 Philosophy of Life for the spring 2022 term on the second 8-week schedule. Everybody, keep in mind it's the 19th. At the end of the month, the 31st, your paper on Plato and Aristotle is due. So I hope that the material you've been looking at on Plato and Aristotle has been helpful to you. Contact me if you're having any difficulty. We tried to describe the assignment and point you to some sources that might help you. It's not in the main a research paper. It's a paper asking you to think about what you think and what your views are. But it might help you to read ahead a little bit and do a little bit of research. Everyone, this week on Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to be getting an announcement out. We're going to run another extra credit quiz. This will be the second and last extra credit quiz that we do. It'll be over the material from the class notes in lectures 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Okay. 5 items, 3 points each, 3 points extra credit for each one you get correct. So be looking for an announcement on that. That will go on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, which would be the 22nd and 23rd, I believe, for 48 hours. Everybody, on the syllabus for this week, we have the issue of rationalism and empiricism. It's a lengthy set of class notes, and it's kind of complicated, something that trips a lot of students up. And there will be a good bit of material about this on the exam. So I wanted to say just a few words about it. If you were to study the history of philosophy, at some institutions you could take 2 consecutive courses on the history of philosophy, ancient and medieval, and then modern in the second course. And in history of modern philosophy, this would be the issue you would be studying about to a large extent, the issue between the rationalists and the empiricists. Now the issue is, does all our knowledge come from sense perception? Or can there be a source of knowledge separate and distinct from sense perception? Okay. Those who think that knowledge comes strictly from sense perception are empiricists. Those who think it's possible for there to be other sources of knowledge besides sense perception are rationalists. Now, to put it in a nutshell very quickly, to preview what you'll be looking at in those class notes, which are the class notes for lecture 4, I believe. Okay. There are 4 thinkers you need to know above all: Descartes, Locke, Hume, and Kant. Now, let me say a word about each of those. Okay. René Descartes was the first great rationalist. He's known for the saying, of course, "I think, therefore I am," cogito ergo sum in Latin. The idea was that the first move that Descartes made is he reported that he contemplated, thought about it, reached the conclusion that he could not doubt his own existence. I think, therefore I am. Okay, so using no method other than contemplation, he could establish without a doubt that he did indeed exist. And once he established that, he could derive the existence of God and the external world. So that's, in a very brief nutshell, is Descartes' rationalism. Now, John Locke, who plays a great role in, he contributes to both British and American civilization things, Locke, but Locke's rationalism was a lot of bunk. The notion that the mind is a blank slate on which experience writes. So there's no source of knowledge other than experience. Blank slate, or tabula rasa in Latin. So Locke is associated with the idea that the mind is a blank slate. Now, that brings us to Locke's, one of the other empiricists, David Hume, whereas John Locke was English, is not only an many with whom I have studied regarding David Hume, reached the conclusion that it's really very, very difficult to say that we really know anything For instance, the problem with saying that sense perception establishes and knows something, the problem is making the connection between the perception that you have and the existence of an object in the external world, because we know our senses can be mistaken. So just by virtue of having, does that establish that we know anything? Hume stipulated that you really can't be sure that the sun is morning. Well, Carl said billions and billions of years from now it will not. But Hume would say, well, for practical purposes, you have to assume that the sun will rise in the morning. Everybody does, but you don't really know such a thing. It's very difficult to establish that you know. Then Immanuel Kant comes along and widely conceded that genuine step forward purported to resolve this dispute. Now, Kant, rational and an empirical sense perception may be, but above and beyond that, you might say, to having the sense perception, to process the sense perception and make sense, believed it was almost that enabled them discuss and evaluate the perception. Okay. Cause and effect, and also the notion of substance and accident. The thing and the property it accidentally has. The apple, we know the sense of the apple, and also that it's round, that it's the substance is there, and it has certain properties by accident, we might say. So we attribute qualities, substance, and accident to be the most important, the sense perception that we have, so the component to all knowledge. It's in philosophy by provisioning the rationalists and the empirical. Descartes, Locke. There are other thinkers among the rational. So I hope that will help you make in the class notes for lecture 4. An extra credit quiz for written assignment due at the end. We'll be moving on to some which I'll try to lay out and preview for. So take the quiz, class notes for lecture 4, about a week from now at this time.